ladies and possessors of a penis. Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet and two-time world champion. Something. That was good. I told you I was going to come up with something on the fly, and I did.
I'm sure everyone could be a world champion at something.
I am. This is the Kill Your No Loser show. Let's fucking go. So we absolutely stole something right now. I'll let you know. We have stolen this. We have stolen a clickbait headline from a little YouTube channel called Playing With Fire. I was fucking around and watching some of their shit yesterday, and we saw a cool title, and I thought we should steal that, and we'll do a video on that. So it's called The 5 Worst Dating Tips for Women, as in the worst dating tips that women ever get. We stole one of their tips. I liked one of his tips, and then we've come up with like 4 others on our own. Mm-hmm. Let's fucking do it, baby. And if you're not familiar, guys and girls, I am joined by my concubine, Imogen. That's you. So, what are the 5 worst dating tips for women? You read number 1 out here. I'll make the font really big so you can read it, because I know that women can't fucking read for shit. The first worst dating tip for women is like, you can read, you're a great reader. Women can't read. So they go, big, nice font.
If I was illiterate, it being larger wouldn't help.
Yeah, you can see the letters better. There you go.
So the first one is that women shouldn't be feminine or traditional or submissive. You need to, it's that cliche, but be that like strong, independent woman that doesn't need no man. Like,
you've just read number 2. See, you fucked up. This is why I tried to make it big. You've read 2 in the same one. So stick to the first one. So the first one is, women shouldn't be feminine or traditional or submissive or let the man lead.
Sure. I do think that.
This is why you need a man to lead, because you're just going to misread. This is why I said I need to make the font big so you can read it properly. All right, back on track. So there is that dating advice, isn't there, that like a woman, I guess you can say it's especially a Western thing, that women shouldn't be like traditional and submissive.
I would add in the caveat of this is all very Western advice.
Oh yeah, this is all, none of this advice gets given outside the West, where everyone's fucking normal and not stupid. And they'll say like, what are you talking about? Women should be like feminine, like men like feminine women. But here in the West, we've got a complete 180. Those of you who like religion and who follow the Bible or read the Bible, you would be familiar with a concept called satanic inversion. You could say that's kind of what this is. It's like a complete 180. I don't believe in Satan. He's not real. Fucking Jesus is my homie. But like that complete deviation or 180 from real life. And it's funny how it's been flipped. It cracks me up that a lot of women get told like, don't be too feminine, or you don't need to be feminine. And you can answer this question, because I'm sure you're going to figure out what the fucking answer is, because it's a leading question I've just given you. I've teed this one up so you can just hit it for a home run. What do you think the number 1 criteria that guys who hit me up for coaching say they want in a woman? What's the first thing they say? When I say, what's your idea of a perfect woman? What kind of woman do you want? What do you think the first thing they say is? It's not hot. It's like, not fucking sexy. What do you think it is?
It's like nice and feminine.
Feminine is the first thing. And all you guys listening right now, you're fucking putting your fists in the air like fucking like Hitler used to, that kind of fucking like fuck yeah. And you're going, that black power kind of thing, fucking white power, that kind of thing. Demonetized now.
Well, you covered both, so now people can't get angry.
Yeah, so no one can get mad that feminine. Feminine is like the main thing that you're looking for. And a lot of women get told, like, you don't need to be feminine because it's not that important. Being submissive, especially not. You definitely don't want to be fucking submissive. You don't really need to be traditional. That's boring.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily being told that you don't need it, but it makes you a traitor to women.
A traitor to feminism, yeah. It's fucking goofy as hell. It's an exact satanic inversion. It's like a 180. And men get told the same shit, by the way, but just in reverse. Men get told, like, be soft. And we're going to do one of these in a minute, or in another podcast, like 5 worst tips that men get. And by the way, that's a hint in there. It's like, you got to be a fucking nice guy, bait a fucking loser. So let's move on to the second worst dating tip that women get. I'll make the font even bigger. Here you go. That's too big. Hang on. There you go. So number 2, you read that out.
Okay.
You
So
cute
I
little woman voice.
already touched on it, but the idea that you don't need a man, and you need to like show how independent you are. You can't be needy. You can't be clingy. You basically can't show a man that you would like to have him in your life. It kind of almost always needs to be this like, I don't need you. Like, I'm only here because I want to be.
Yeah. Almost like you can't be too affectionate.
Yeah.
You can't be grateful. That's a better way of saying that. You can't be grateful for the guy that you're dating, or even if you just go on a nice date with the guy one time, you can't be too over the top with, over the top is a strong word. You can't be too like grateful with your sentiments. You can't say like, oh, that was really fun, thank you so much. Like, because you can come across as needy or clingy.
Yeah. It's almost like this rejection of a woman saying that like, I'd really like a boyfriend. I think I'd be nice. I'd like a guy to look after me. And it's like, no, why do you need that? You need to look after yourself. Like,
yeah,
that notion.
it's the worst fucking advice, because it's like basic biology that, let's say 98% of women would like a guy to look after them. That sounds fucking lovely. And 98% of guys would like to mentor and, you know, teach a woman and take that leading role. Like, that's kind of basic fucking biology.
Yeah.
And to deny that, I mean, you don't have to have that, fine. But to say that that is completely bad, wrong, that you're a bad feminist, that you're not supporting womankind, you're defying the sisterhood, how dare you say that it would be nice to have a man looking after you, or a man even just taking the lead, even if we're just talking about casual sex. Like, how dare you have a man take the lead and make the moves and all that kind of shit? That's like a betrayal of the sisterhood.
Yeah. Or like that it's not okay to want a man to carry the groceries, like little things. Like, you need to like show him that you're like tough and strong and like.
And then obviously, like, every woman will then, her actions, okay, can you please carry this? I've worked in workplaces, right, where the women are all like fucking feminists or some shit. I don't even know what the fuck's wrong with them, but they're talking about like, you know, we can do everything a man can do. And then who fucking has to carry the big heavy boxes without fail every single fucking time? Who has to reach the thing on the top shelf? Is it the women? I'll tell you right now, it's not. Yeah. And yet they will say, we don't need men. Like, you know, we're just as capable as you. And it's like, okay, you might be capable, but you're also fucking lazy if you're making me carry all the boxes. You're either capable or you're not. It goes both ways. Responsibility.
Yeah. I actually have this story. There was this family that I used to nanny for, and the mother or the wife, she was really, really lovely. Mm-hmm. But there was this occasion where their little cat got stuck in a hole in a cupboard, and it was me and her were the only people at home. Mm-hmm. And she just got very frantic and panicky. And because she couldn't get the cat, its head was like stuck in this hole. And it was like...
Okay, so I want to interrupt. There'll be a lot of you know that I'm porn free, or I'm going porn free, started going porn free. There's a podcast I did with a guy a while ago, and he talked about his major fucking fetish on Pornhub is like, girl gets stuck in cupboard. And there's a whole fucking subcategory of porn where like girl gets stuck in like head stuck under the sink, and she's like, help, is anyone out there? And then stepbrother or someone like fucking creepy comes in and goes like, oh, look at it, like now's my chance to have some sex for once. Like I don't know how you then segue to help, I'm stuck in the cupboard, to having sex, but that's a whole fucking category. So that just reminded me of that cat stuck in. Anyway, continue. So the woman got really frantic
because we couldn't get this poor cat out of, like, its head was very
Why can't
stuck.
the cat just pull its head back? How do you go in but you can't come back out?
It was so stuck. It was
Okay.
it was like, because I heard...
Just use butter.
actually did
Lube.
end up doing.
Yeah.
We ended up using butter. But she ultimately said like, I'm going to call my husband.
I need a man to get this cat
basically
out.
that. It was like, he's better at dealing with that stuff. You had to like move the oven and basically like to get the cat. And then multiple times she said to me, she's like, you know, like, I know that I should be able to do this, but he's just really good with this. And it was almost like she was apologizing to me.
That she wanted to have a man help her.
Yeah. Because she was like one of the most lovely people that I've worked for. But she was definitely the type that was a very like strong, independent woman, like all that sort of stuff. Still a lovely person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there was this weird guilt that I got from her, but that she wanted to call her husband so he could deal with this problem that she couldn't fix because it required the moving of an enormously heavy oven and other
shit
things.
That men are just good at. And like extrapolate that for like that's just one example. That would be happening a ridiculous number of times in their relationship where she feels there's guilt that's put on her from society, from fucking weird pink-haired fat bitches, from, you know, anyone else. Fucking mainstream Hollywood does this. Even guys do this. Like, people putting on that, like, you have to be strong and independent. You can't ever have a man do shit for you. And it's like, why? Like why do you need to be independent? And I see, you can flip this and say, I see guys do this sometimes where with stoicism or that like alpha masculinity where they'll say, I can't ever. Some of the guys in my group coaching program, by the way, if you want coaching, link in the description below. Look at that segue, fucking smooth. some of the guys in my group coaching will struggle with asking for help or sharing shit in the group. And it's like, that's what you're fucking paying for. You paid thousands of dollars to be in this fucking group. And now you're saying, I don't want to be a burden because I think I have to be stoic and alpha and all this kind of shit. And it's like, no. That's just what you've got in your fucking head from movies, from books, whatever it is. You can be fucking masculine and still say, yo, guys, I'm having a shit day today. What do you recommend I do? Like, what should I do to fix it? Like, you can fucking ask for suggestions and advice and help without falling apart. And for women, you can say, I want my husband to move the fucking heavy oven so I don't break something or hurt myself or do it wrong or make a mistake. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to get the guy to do it because he just knows that shit better. Or I don't want to mess around it under my sink and get myself stuck and get raped by my stepbrother or something. I would rather call a male plumber to come and fucking fix it because he knows what he's doing. Like, there's no shame in that. There's only shame if you put that shame. What you're doing and what your woman in your example is doing is you're feeling inadequate, you're feeling insecure, and so you're projecting that and going, oh, it's because I'm a bad woman, I just want to be a good woman. It's like, just fucking accept that you're not going to be great at everything. Or here's a better way of phrasing that: accept that someone else might be better at something than you. Don't waste time trying to fucking do an inadequate, mediocre job yourself. Just fucking ask the person for the help. Like, there are things that women, if I'm ever at a party or something and there was a fucking baby there, and someone's like, oh, this baby needs to be like looked after, and no, thank you. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to fucking break it. I don't like holding babies. Okay, I like holding babies. That's not true. I like holding babies. But like, I don't want to have to do the shit. I don't want to have to feed it. I don't want to have to fucking do any of that sort of shit. So I'm going to say, like, all right, who here is a woman? It's your job, fucking fix the baby. If I'm at a hospital, who would I rather as a nurse? Sorry, male nurses. I even know a fucking male nurse in my group. I would rather a female fucking nurse every single time, without fail. If I walk into a doctor's GP, like a doctor's, I want a woman to be the secretary. If I walk into a dentist, I want a fucking woman to be the fucking nurse. I want the male to be like, people are better at certain jobs than others. And now I feel like I have to give a stupid fucking caveat and say some women can move ovens, whatever. If someone is better at something than you, just say like, hey, can you help me with this? You could get it done in 5 seconds, or you can sit there and feel guilty and feel shit and go, oh, I'm just being a bad woman. I'm being a bad feminist, blah, 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 blah. Jesus Christ, you don't have to be fucking captain. I can do everything myself. I can beat up 500 men because I'm a strong, independent woman. I can fucking deadlift 500 kilos because I'm a strong, independent woman. It's like, fuck's sakes, why? Why do you need to do that? If you want to do that, sure, but you don't need to.
Deadlift 500, I'd be very impressed.
A woman. No woman can deadlift that. Fucking only a few men can at this point. Shout outs to my boy Eddie Hall, first man to do it. Almost killed himself doing it. I appreciate that. Number 3. What is number 3? Worst dating tip for women / woman / I think bitches is what you call them, right? Bitches? You hate that term. You fucking hate when I say bitches. And I almost never say bitches unless I'm trying to actually annoy you. So what is the third dating tip?
Is that in relationships, you can just wait and see what happens. Or even dating. As the woman, you can just see what happens. You don't have to actually go after what you want, whether that's a relationship or something specific in dating, that it will just naturally come to you.
Like
the
universe
will provide.
Give it to you. Yeah. I see this a lot. Even one of your friends, she's smart enough and self-aware enough to figure out that she can't just passively sit there and wait for the time, because she wants something she wants a boyfriend. She doesn't want to just have fucking casual sex.
No.
And she's come to a realization pretty quickly, like she didn't take long to figure it out, where she's like, I can't just sit here and wait for a boyfriend, can I? I might have to actually go to some meetups. I might have to meet some people through social circle. I might have to meet, like, if I'm on Tinder, I have to be fucking serious about what I want on Tinder. I can't just go on Tinder and meet whoever.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women get told, like, or they reinforce it with each other, this idea of this cliche of like, I'll just see what happens. I'm just going to go on a date and see what happens. It's like, you're going on a date with like me, who clearly on his Tinder profile, literally looking for sex with me and my girlfriend. Like, why are you meeting that person to see what will just happen? I'll just wait and see what happens. Hopefully we get a boyfriend out of this. How? So that's a terrible bit of advice. A terrible, terrible, terrible bit of advice. And if you've ever given a woman that advice, fuck you. And if you're a woman who's ever had that bit of advice given to her, fuck you as well, because you should have blocked your ears. It's shit advice. You should have known that.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it's sad, but that does lead to those situations where the woman is like 32 and she is single And then
And
she does
bitter.
freak out because she's like, shit, like,
Cats. How many cats would a woman at that age have if she's single?
cats are nice. And I think it's very normal to have
You
like
know,
one
you
or
would
two
be an
cats.
old fucking cat bitch if
because
you didn't have a man.
cats are really lovely and they're good
Cats are
companions.
fucking cunts. Everyone
And
else agrees with me on
They
that.
don't require as much upkeep as other pets.
Anyway, can you get back on topic?
Is that's what leads to those situations where you've run out of time and it's too late because you wait too long to see what happens for such a long time. You never pursue what you actually want, and then it's too late, and then you're kind of fucked.
It kind of makes me sad. It's like there's a lot of like sad old chicks that are just out there because they didn't get what they wanted because they kind of just thought, I've got time, I'll just wait and see what happens. I guess we could add that. We didn't add that as one of our 5. Oh, let's add it as a bonus one. Let's do it right now. Guys, we're going to add it as a bonus one. You're seeing this live. That notion that I've got time. How many women get lied to with, you've got time?
You have time when you're 18.
Yeah, but how many women get told, like, no, in your 30s, you can find a man, you can settle down, you can have kids. They wait till they're fucking 30, 35, and then they realize, oh, shit, wait. If I want to settle down now, first of all, I have less options now because I'm not a pretty 22-year-old. I lost my best years. Everyone in the universe is going to agree a 22-year-old looks more attractive and has more options with guys than a 30-something-year-old. So that was dumb. And then in your 30s, you suddenly realize, like, shit, if I want a serious relationship and a man and marriage and kids, that doesn't just come instantly. I have to find the guy. Then we have to date for a couple of years so we know we're a good match. Then we have to like get married. And you probably don't want to go from marriage to immediately having kids because you want to, you know, settle into the marriage a little bit and enjoy it and make sure you two don't have deal breakers and you're a good match. Then we want to fucking have kids. By the time I do all that shit, like, fuck, I might be 35, 38. Now my chances of having kids with no complications go down. My chances of even getting pregnant go down. Plus I'm fucking getting old and I want to be young when I can enjoy the fucking kids.
Yeah.
And I see that. I was talking to my mother about this. She said, you know, one of the things that saddens me the most, this is her talking, she said, one of the things that saddens me the most about feminism, she said, I think feminism was a good thing in the 70s. And then after that, for some reason, we all just started lying to young girls and we told them they have plenty of time. And she said, I've seen a lot of women get to their 30s and 40s and realize, you know, I had the career, I made all this money, I did all this stuff, and that was fun. I'm glad I did that. It was amazing, but I just wanted kids. And I told myself that I had time, and everybody around me told me I have time. And people lied to me and told me the thing that made me feel better. I have time, and I don't have time. I'm 40 now, and it's fucking too late because there's no guy now. And even if I found a guy in the next 3 years, got to use IVF or some shit. And that doesn't mean it's too late. You know, you can, but fuck, what a time to, well, like, you've left it really late.
Yeah, and I think like what you just said then about needing to make that career ties quite well in with the first couple of points of needing to be independent. You need to be financially independent. You need to be this career
You can't be
woman.
feminine and traditional.
Yeah, you can't be the stay-at-home wife and like mother.
Yeah.
You need to have your own career. And I think like you've said before, I mean, we made the point in this video that the number one thing that you have said clients want is for women to be feminine, not for you to have a kick-ass job. And if you want to do that for you, like, obviously cool, that's great. You have your career, but don't do it because, and I mean, that's terrible advice. Don't do it because you think men will be attracted to that.
Oh, men won't. There's that fucking, my favorite saying ever when a woman says, like, you know, look, I got this PhD. It's like, I can't fuck your PhD. And it sounds crass, but every guy listening is like, yeah, I'm literally not attracted to a woman because she has a PhD. I might respect her more. I might think it's cool as shit. It might be something we can connect on. But like at the end of the day, attraction comes first. And femininity, I would almost say femininity comes first. I think most guys would prefer a plain but really feminine, sweet, kind woman over a really attractive but less feminine. I think feminine actually comes first.
Yeah.
Attraction is pretty fucking close.
You told me a story of how one of your clients actually had that experience of he went home with a girl who was really hot, but just like a bit of a psycho in bed. No,
I
not in a
think I
good
know
way.
who you're talking about. Yeah, that's happened plenty of times. Yeah. Versus the like plain girl or the a little more average girl who's like super fucking feminine. She's like a sweetheart, and it's like, oh, you've won me over with your little feminine charms, you little sweetie. You want to pinch her little chubby cheeks and be like, oh, I like you. You know, one of the girls that I dated that I've told you about, the little Chinese chick that I saw for like over a year, you would call her like average, like and I don't mean that as an insult. She was cute, but she's like plain. But holy shit, like what a feminine, like sweet, just lovely person. And it's like, yeah, I want to keep you around. Like, why not? Because you're really fucking feminine. You give me that feminine energy. Yeah. But I think that's one of the things that probably on this list makes me the saddest is like women being told you have time. And women, I'm going to blow your fucking mind here. Ready? I'm going to tell you the best advice ever. My mother took on this. My mother did this. There are plenty of women that did this. This is going to blow your fucking mind. If you want a career, ready? Wait for it. You're allowed to have that after you have fucking marriage or kids or whatever it is you really want. You can do both. Women get told like, you can have it all. You can have a career and, marriage. And then a lot of people in the red pill will say, no, she can't. That's a lie. It's like, no, you can. You just need to prioritize. One of them, you only have a limited amount of time, like a window in which you're going to find the best man. You're going to set yourself up for success with that. And the other one, you have the rest of your life. You can build a business when you're fucking 80 if you want to. Yeah. Probably die soon after that from fucking
stress.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? So do the business or start working on I'm going to blow your mind again. You can find a guy, if that's something you want. Some women generally don't, but let's say 98% of women do want family, kids, whatever it is. You can find that, and then while you're building that, also work on your business. One of the things my mother did while she was a stay-at-home mom, one of the things she did when she was raising my sister and I was she slowly worked on her business skills. She took like a university course, but like a distance education one. She worked on that over a year or whatever and got herself back in. And then when we grew up and we went to school, then she went back into the workforce and she's like, cool. And like she rose up the ranks, not massively, but she's like, she manages an office at a school. So it's like, she's not at the bottom, she's done a decent job. Number 5. What is the 5th one?
Oh,
no, number 4 was that one. We did a bonus one. So we got 6, not 5.
So number 5 is that you can't be honest and authentic in the sense that you have to hold back a bit. You need to, as you've written down, keep your cards close to your chest, like not be too vulnerable. It almost ties into the idea of like playing games. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you can't show a guy that you're like, I had this when I met you. I couldn't tell you that I liked you because it meant that I was vulnerable and that if I told you that I liked you, I was going to be clingy and needy.
And I would run away and be disgusted by your vulnerability or your like realness. Let's just phrase it like that.
More that it would come off as clingy if I told you that I liked you.
Yeah. And I think that's not just a female one. That's not just women get told that. Everyone gets told that. I think guys get told that probably more than women even. Like you can't be honest, you can't be authentic, you can't be real. If you want a good example of a good book that gives decent dating advice or really good dating advice, Mark Manson's book called Models. I haven't personally read it myself, but a fuck ton of my clients have. And they've all said, like, this is a really good book. Like, this is everything that Andy, you talk about. It's about how to be real, how to be honest, how to not fucking play games. Yeah, there is, like, that general advice of you want to play games and here's how you do text game. I think even the YouTube channel that we pulled this from, Playing with Fire, this concept of, today's podcast, they fall into that trap so fucking much of like, here's how to play games with chicks. Here's how to not be fucking real and say what you want. Here's how to push-pull. Here's how to avoid a shit test. Here's how to do all of that kind of stuff. And both genders get told you can't just fucking be real and say the truth. And if they don't like it, they can piss off. And if they do like it, cool, you'll keep that person around. So I want you guys to know there are plenty of people that do push honesty and authentic kind of communication. Me, obviously, Good Looking Loser to an extent was like that. Black Dragon, Caleb Jones, he's very much like that. Mark Manson, he's like that. So there's plenty of people that say, just don't fucking play games, just be honest. There are obviously a lot of people, I'd say there's way more people that say like, you can't be too honest, you can't be too vulnerable. You kind of got to hold back a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've actually spoken about this with women and that's kind of how nagging takes place because you can't just ask for what you want. You need to be covert and kind of imply what you want rather than just being like, I would like this thing, because I don't know, there's something wrong with that. It's being too
real, too honest. Yeah. And so you're saying nagging is the way that you as a woman communicate. If you as a woman aren't allowed or are told not to be authentic and honest, and you're told to like hold back and keep your cards close to your chest, nagging is the result.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't say what you want directly, because that wouldn't be you'd be too honest. You'd be too fucking clingy or whatever.
And it breeds that bitterness and resentment, and it
Yeah.
comes out in like really unpleasant ways.
And that's that's why I push honest, authentic, no bullshit communication and sex and all that kind of stuff, is so you avoid that drama. Again, Black Dragon is like that, Caleb Jones, Mark Manson, all these people are like that, good looking loser, because you don't have to play these fucking games. You get to just say, yo, I'm into you, you're hot, I'm looking for something casual, do you want to grab a drink together and see what happens? And if she's up for it, she'll go, yeah, that sounds really nice, let's do that. You don't have to then, either of you don't have to hold back, you don't have to fucking keep your cards close to your chest or any of that bullshit. See, it's easier. And number 6, we stole this one from Playing with Fire. This is one of their suggestions as well. So what is number 6? Worst dating advice.
Is that you are perfect just the way you are.
Yeah.
So by that is this idea that you don't need to improve yourself and that a guy should, love you for everything that you are. And I think, sure, there should be a love and respect of who you are on a core level.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some resounding quality as a person that is what attracts you to them in the first place.
Of course.
But there's always more you can do, because I think for guys there is this sense of like you need to earn a woman's love and affection. Like you need to do something.
Guys understand that there's a really good saying they have in the Red Pill where they will say men are human doings and women are human beings. So there is a notion that men need to do stuff in order to be valuable.
Yeah, I do. And it's not nice because I have heard, not necessarily friends, but female acquaintances have this sense of entitlement that by existing, I should be entitled to dinners and for him to buy me things.
Men need to jump through hoops just because I exist and I'm cool.
And yeah, whenever I've heard, funnily enough, it is the women that maybe aren't.
Just be honest. Just say it bluntly. It's your fat friends, isn't it? You don't actually have any fat friends now, but you used to.
No, I didn't. I've never had fat
As
friends.
if I'd ever associate with fatties. That's so gross. That's you. Literally live on air. Everyone can quote that to Imogen now.
I just haven't ever really had.
You just couldn't
fat
see yourself
friends.
being friends with a fat person.
I've never really.
By the way, guys, if you're fat, I just want to make it very clear that you're discussing and you need to lose weight. So yeah, that's what we're saying. I used to be fat too, by the way.
And I'm in the process of losing weight, and it's hard.
So carry on with your little statement. Friends.
It's often the women who maybe aren't working on themselves or have a lot going for them that have this entitlement and this sense that I am owed things. And I think like even saying that out loud, like people that say that out loud, like men should treat me like a queen, and is the one that I've heard more recently. It kind of comes from a place of bitterness that I haven't been given what I want from men, and I'm entitled to that. And I think the solution that doesn't get told, which is the terrible advice that you don't need to do anything, when in fact it is a case of if you worked on yourself and you became more feminine, or you were more sweet, or you even just like more interesting, or
worked on your looks as well.
Yeah, and I think obviously the most important one is being more attractive, working on your looks, doing your hair, doing your makeup, dressing pretty.
Losing fat.
Yeah, those are going to be the more important things, and that's going to be how you get the higher quality men who are going to give you what you want.
Because you had this conversation with your friend, right? And she's not unattractive, but she could do some work. She can max herself out. Let's phrase it like that.
Yeah.
You had that conversation with her, didn't you? Where she said, like, I'm not happy with my dating results or the guys that I'm matching with or whatever. And you gently pushed her towards like, okay, well, like, let's change that. Let's work on you.
Yeah. And she is in the process of that. I think she's
for sure. She goes to the gym and shit.
Very self-improvement focused. And she's on that journey.
And she's still young, isn't she? How old is she?
She's 20.
Yeah. So she's figuring this shit out, and you've been guiding her. I have too. Not really, but like you have. And you've pushed her towards, like hit the gym, lean up a little bit, tone your muscles, add a tiny bit of fucking muscle so you look lean, so you look toned, that kind of shit. And she gets it. She's smart enough and self-aware enough to get it. But yeah, I think one of the lies told to women is like, you're perfect as you are. You just need to wait for Mr. Right. And it's like, sorry, but you're like kind of a shit. You kind of just average. And average gets average. If you're average, you will date average guys. And you're right. It's some women, not all women, but some women who are average will feel entitled to fucking Mr. 9 out of 10. And it's like, it doesn't really work that way.
Yeah.
Like, if you want a 9 out of 10, become at least a fucking 7 or an 8 yourself.
It's actually funny that those people then call those men shallow.
They do, don't they? And it's
And
like,
it's
no,
like,
I'd be
what do you
shallow
have
if I
going
fucked
for
you.
you?
I'd be shallow if I fucked you, because then it would only be sex. I'm sleeping with the attractive chick because she looks better. She's more feminine. She probably doesn't do any of the bad tips that we've said on this fucking list. You know, she's obviously cares enough about her body to actually put in some effort. She cares about her appearance. Like, that's less shallow than you who just exists and goes, you should give me what I want because I exist. That's kind of shallow. That's very shallow. So there we are. There's our 6 worst dating tips for women. And if you want coaching, I can coach you. That's very good sales. That was good. I like that.
Good.
That was a good sales read. If you want coaching, I can give you that. I'll leave a link in the description below to that shit. And what should these lovely gentlemen and women do?
They should go out there and crush your goals.
Go crush your fucking goals, you pussies. That comes straight from Imogen, including the pussies bit at the end.